Okay, so this next topic that we're starting today is on data. The first thing we're going to do is classify data according to the names that are given in this table. So the first thing is you can either classify data that you're collecting as being categorical or quantitative. Now, categorical just means that these are categories or wordy answers, like what is your hair colour, what type of vehicle do you drive. You're expecting people to give you a wordy answer in response. Whereas a quantitative question, you would expect to get a number as your answer. So there's some examples there. Height, weight, number of children in the family, etc. Things where you're expecting people to give you a number. Now, if you have described your data as being either categorical or quantitative, we can still be more descriptive on that again. So let's start with the categorical side. If data is categorical, Levi, Toby, up here. If data is categorical, it can be divided into nominal or ordinal types of data. And there's an explanation of what each of those things are. Nominal means that it says a subgroup to complete the description, such as hair colour, blonde, brown and red, etc. Basically, we know these are wordy answers, but there's no one thing in those answers that would be better than the other. They're just, give me a colour, red, blue, green, whatever it happens to be, and that is it. Whereas, if you go to ordinal, a wordy response, but these responses would have a ranking to them. So it gives you the example here of levels of achievement. You could describe that as being high, very high, satisfactory, those kinds of words. Obviously, there is levels in there where it might be better to be at the higher end than the lower end. So there's still a ranking system in those wordy responses. Okay, now to the number side. In our quantitative data, we can have discrete or continuous types of numbers. Discrete, it says there, is counted in exact values. For example, the number of goals scored in a football match or your shoe size. Okay? You can't say I scored 3.27 goals. Okay, you would score maybe 3 or 4, whatever it is. They're whole number answers usually. Shoe size can sometimes confuse people because you can have half-size shoes, but there's not a continuous scale in between. You can't have a quarter size or an eighth or a 0.01, okay? Whereas continuous data means that you can have any decimal on the decimal scale in there, and that would be continuous. So, for example, things like mass, like people's weight, temperature, lengths, those are all things that can be measured to as many decimal places as you like, which is why we call that a continuous scale. Put the food away, concentrate up here. Okay, so what we want to practice here is classifying the data with those names that we've been given. So you need to first of all decide categorical or quantitative. That will be your first decision. And then if it's categorical, is it nominal or ordinal? If it's quantitative, is it discrete or continuous? Okay, you've got to follow the branches down. All right, so the first example is the gender of a newborn baby. If someone asked you, what was your baby, a boy or a girl? Are they asking you for categorical data or quantitative data? Categorical, so that's your first word. Okay, now if it's categorical, is the words that they're giving you back, so boy or a girl, is that nominal or ordinal? Nominal. Because boys and girls are kind of equal value. You're not placing one above the other. So we say that that is nominal. Okay, we have the length of our newborn baby. So we're asking a person, how tall was your baby when it was born? Is that categorical or quantitative data? Yes, we're asking for a number now. So this is quantitative. And is the number answer that we're asking for, would it be measured just discrete or continuous? Continuous, because it's a length. Okay, part C. The favourite TV program of each student in your class. Is that categorical or quantitative? I'm after a word, right? What's your favourite TV program? So that's a categorical. Now, would that be nominal or ordinal? So we're saying nominal. We might all think that there are some shows that are better than others, but they're not technically ranked, or that could be debated, I guess, as well, but I'm going to say nominal. Part D, the volume of petrol purchased for $10 in various towns. Am I after categorical or quantitative data? Quantitative, because it's a number. Is that number discrete or continuous? Would it be whole numbers of volume that I could be? Would it be exactly 2 litres of petrol, or would it be on a continuous scale? Continuous. E, the maximum temperature for each day of the month. Number, so is it categorical or quantitative? It's a number again, good, quantitative. Is that temperature discrete or continuous? Continuous again, because we can measure temperatures to as many decimal places as we are able to with the instruments that we have. The number of questions on a test, quantitative or categorical? The number, I'm giving it away, the number of questions. I'm asking for a number, so it's quantitative. Is that number discrete or continuous? Discrete, because there is an exact number of questions. Like that. Good. And last one, the height of each student in your class. Is it categorical or quantitative? It's quantitative because it's a number. And is that number discrete or continuous for height? So it's continuous. Okay, so there's a few questions like that that are going to be in your work in a minute, but that's the main idea there, that you can just use those names to correctly describe the data that could be collected on a survey. Okay, moving on though to the next section, which is on finding, we call this finding the central tendency of our data, the measures of central tendency. And there's a few definitions here that you need to know. So let's go through them. First of all, the word mean. If you are asked to find the mean of the data, that is another name for the average. It can be found by summing up all of your scores. So it says the sum of all your scores, and then dividing by the number of scores that you have. You'll also notice that there's a symbol over here on the left-hand side, an X with a bar above it. That symbol means mean, so you can write that instead of the word mean. Okay? None of the other ones have a symbol, just mean. Okay? Moving on to the next one. The median is the middle score. For this to be found, your scores have to be in order from smallest to largest. So you can see some small sets of data here. They're already in order, 1, 5, 11, 12, 17, order from smallest to largest. and the other one, smallest to largest. To find the middle, we can do this process of crossing off from the beginning and the end, cross off the beginning and the end, and then the one that's left in the middle, that number, that 11, is the middle number, the median. But sometimes, look at the even data set over here. If we have an even number of scores, we cross off the beginning, the end, the beginning, the end. I don't want to cross those two off because I'd have nothing left. If there are two numbers left in the middle, you need to average them, which means you add them together and divide by 2. So you can see down here, we've got 7 plus 8 divided by 2, which means the median would be 7.5 for that data. Okay, we're going to be finding lots and lots of these. Let's move on to the next one. Mode. Mode stands for the most occurring score. Now, there's a bunch of different sets of data here. If you just have each number, 1, 2, 3, 4, each number is only happening once. That means there's no mode because nothing is happening more than the rest, right? So no mode for that one. In this second line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6 and so on, because the 5s are happening more than everything else because they're happening twice and everything else is only happening once, that means that 5 is the mode. But there is still more. You can have more than one mode. Okay? So look at this one. I've got double 3 and I have the double 5. They both happen twice, which means that both 3 and 5 are the mode. Don't average them. You write them both down. 3 and 5 is the mode, and we call this bimodal because there is 2 of them. You could even have 3 of them if they all happened the same number of times. Yes? The one that's repeating itself the most, yes. Nothing is re-repeated. Good. So that's the mean, median, mode. They tend to approximate, for most, when you collect data, they usually approximate the center of the data. These next couple are about working out how spread out your data is. So the next one we have is range. Range is literally the highest number minus the lowest number in your set of data, which tells you, or give you a number as a result, and that tells you how spread out your results are. Then there is another way of calculating range, because sometimes you might collect up really nice data, look like these ones up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you have this massive jump to the number 35. So 35 might be something you go, that's an outlier. Why is that number so far away from the rest of them? That's giving me a range of 34 when you subtract those, compared to if I just ignored that one and did 7 minus 1, that would be a range of 6. That outlier is having a really huge impact on what the range is. So there is this other type which we call interquartile range, which means we want to find the range of the middle 50% of results. So we're ignoring the extreme high and the extreme low ones, and we just want the middle 50%. To do that, we have to divide our data into 4 sections. And that means that there are things that we call quartiles that we need to find. Okay? So we have the lower quartile is called Q1, and it is the score that is 25% of the way into the data. The upper quartile is Q3. It's 75% of the way into the data. And there is a Q2. It's not listed on there. Q2 is the median. It is the middle of the middle. Okay? To find the interquartile range, which is the middle 50%, you need to subtract the Q3 minus the Q1. Okay, so IQR stands for interquartile range, and it is Q3 minus Q1. So that page is your summary page of all the different things that you need to know, but let me show you how to find them all. We're going to do a few examples where we're just finding all of those things. 3 times, I think. 3 times we're going to do that, find all those things there. So example number 2, it says calculate the range, mode, median, mean, Q1, Q3, and interquartile range of the set of data. Now, because we are doing quartiles and medians and things, we know we're going to need our data in order from smallest to largest. So that's always a good place to start if you're doing a question like this. So this is not in order. 1, 15, 8, 2, definitely not in order. So let's go through and rewrite it from smallest to largest. So the smallest number is 1. I'm going to cross it off. 1's first. 2 is the next biggest number. So cross that off. Then 4. Then I have an 8. Then I have 10, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, so there are all my numbers in order from smallest through to largest. Okay, so one of the things you're going to want on your study sheet rather quickly is the definition of all these things, because now I'm going to be asking you. First thing to find is the range. Does anyone remember how to find the range? It is? That's right. And because my numbers are in order, that's really easy to find. My highest number is 15 and my lowest number is 1. So it will be 15 take away 1, which is 14. Okay, my next word, mode. Can you remember what a mode is? Mode stands for most. They're both M-O. Mode, most. Okay? Is there a number in that list that happens more than everything else? No, there's no repeats at all. So this one has no mode. Median. What is a median? Middle. It's the middle. How are we going to remember that? Okay, so we said mode and most, the M-O and M-O. Median and middle, they both have the M and the D in it. They have an I as well. But middle and median, they both have the D. Median, middle. Okay, can you remember that? Trying to make it stick. Okay? So, to find the middle, I am going to, on my purple numbers here, I'm going to cross off from the beginning and the end. I'm going to cross off the 1 and the 15. Cross off the 2 and the 14. Cross off the 4 and the 13. And that leaves me 2 numbers in the middle. I don't want to cross them off because otherwise I'd have nothing left. If there is 2 numbers in the middle, I have to add them together. So that would be 8 plus 10 and divide by 2. I'm averaging them to find the middle. That makes 9. Good. All right. Next word, mean. What is the mean? Yes. The average. How do we find an average? Yes. Very good. All right, so calculator time, and hopefully everyone has their calculators. In your calculator, the purple numbers, you're adding them up. 1 plus 2, 4 plus 8 plus 10 plus 13 plus 14 plus 15. What do you get? No. No. Calculate. Come on, calculators. 6. What'd you get? 76? 76? Are we having a backwards moment? 76, good. All right, when you add them all up, you get 76. Then you have to divide that, so I've got my fraction line, by how many scores there are. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scores. Oh, no, you're right. Yeah. That was wrong. It was 67. Oh, you were right. You were right. How many? I just counted them. How many were there? Oh, count them again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. So 67 divided by 8. Type that in. Where's my calculator? I should use it, shouldn't I? 67 divided by 8. Okay, 8.375. That is the average. Okay, now for these interesting things over here, the quartiles. Okay, now when I found the median, I'm going to change colours here. Maybe I'll use blue. My median was between the 9 and the 10. When we're doing this, I went 8 plus 10 divided by 2. My median's 9. It is in between there. That's the median, or you can call that Q2. Okay, we found that here. To find the Q1, you want to look at all the numbers that are below that spot. So there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 numbers here are below my median. And I want the middle of those 4 numbers. Where would that be? If I split those 4 in half, I would have to chop it right there between the 2 and the 4 so that I have 2 on that side and 2 on that side, right? So that's between the 2 and the 4, which means I'm going to have to average them. I'm going to go 2 plus 4 divided by 2. What does that make? Nope, 3. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing for the upper quartile. I have these 4 numbers on the higher end of my median, and I want the middle of those 4. Where is that going to be? Split it into 2 and 2 again. It's going to be between the 13 and the 14. So add them together and divide by 2 means 13.5 is my Q3. And I can write that up here as well. So you can see the Q1, the Q2, Q3. And what has happened with those blue lines, have a look. I have divided my data into 1, 2, 3, 4 groups, which is why we call them quartiles. You need a booklet. Okay, to find the last thing, which is the interquartile range, we need to use the formula, which was Q3 minus Q1. That was on our summary page. Q3 is 13.5 minus Q1, which is 3. And when you subtract them, that's an interquartile range of 10.5. All right, that's doing it once. It's all still very new, Levi. It's all still very new. We've only done it once. Let's do it a couple more times. Here is everyone written that down? Here is a new set of data. We are going to find all the same stuff again. The first thing we need to do is make sure they're in order. The numbers, they're not. So go through and put them in order. 2 is the smallest. See if you can do the rest. Sometimes it's good to count. If you count how many numbers you have originally, make sure you still have the same number of numbers when you put them in the right order. Okay. You can check with mine to make sure you got the same thing. Now let's go through all these things we have to find again. First of all, the range. Range is the highest minus the lowest. So 11 take away 2 is 9. Mode is mode stands for, what is it? Mode is for most. Mode and most. Mode and most. Is there a number that happens the most? 8. Correct. All right. Median stands for, remember that special D. Median and middle. They both have D's. Median and middle. So to find the middle, we're going to cross off beginning and end, beginning and end, beginning and end, beginning and end, beginning and end. This time there is one number left in the middle, so I circle it. That is going to be the median, which is, yes, 8. The reason I circle it is because when I do my quartiles, that number won't count anymore. I'll be using those numbers and those numbers. All right, but we're not up to that yet. We need to do the mean. Mean is the average. So calculate a time, add all those numbers up. Nobody knows. Add them all up. 76, which is why I wrote it wrong last time, because I was looking at my thing. So 67 and that one's 76. Oh, just to be tricky. Okay, divided by We count up how many numbers we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're dividing by 11, which makes 6 point, what did you get? All right, so 2 decimal places, 6.91 I think will be sufficient. Okay, time for our quartiles. So because my median was the 8 doesn't count. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers below, and there are also 5 numbers above. Okay, so for my lower quartile, I want the middle of the 5. What's the middle of the 5? Because that's what we call lower quartile. Okay, so have a look. If I did crossing off again, maybe I'll do a different color, and I'll cross the 2 with the 7 and the 3 with the 6. What's left in the middle? The 4, because there's 2 on that side and 2 on that side, and the 4 is directly in the middle. So I don't need to average anything. 4 is my Q1. Let's go to the upper end. There's these 5 numbers, because the 8 doesn't count. These 5 numbers. I would cross off the 8 with the 11, the 8 with the 10. So what's in the middle? The 9. So you can cross those off if it helps you to visualize. Q3 is 9. The interquartile range is the Q3 take the Q1, which is 9, take away 4, which is 5. Right, what do you think? Is it getting easier? We are going to do it again, but the last one is a little bit different. Okay, so here is the third one. And the reason this is different is because my data is given to me in a dot plot. Now, this is all the numbers, and if you were really dedicated to the cause, you could write it all out as 78 and 79, 79, 80, 80, 80, 81, 81, 81, 81, 82, 82, 82. All right, it'd be a long list, but you could get all of the numbers out of that if you wanted to. But it's much nicer in a graph. It makes it all much easier to see. Okay, let's see if we can work through the things that we need to find. First of all, range. Each one of those dots represents a piece of data. What is the highest score? 87. And the lowest is 78. So the highest dot is 87. The lowest dot is 78. And when you subtract them, yes, that does make 9. So that's the range. The mode is for most. Mode is most. Mode is most. So which number happens the most? Which one has the most dots? 81, because it's got 4 dots, more than anything else. So 81 is the mode. Median is for middle. Now, this is a bit tricky. Now, if you are really good spatially, I have seen people do it successfully. You could sit here and try and cross off dots, but it starts getting confusing as to the top and the bottom, and oh my goodness, right, okay. So it can get confusing to try and cross off your dots to see where the middle is. So if you have data like this, you can find the median's position by doing n plus 1 over 2. Okay, n stands for the number of bits of data that you have. Each one of those dots is a bit of data. So I count my dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. There are 24 dots. So for my question, I'm going to go 24 plus 1 over 2. What does that equal? 12.5. That is not the median. It is the position of the median. Because it is a 0.5, it means it's between the 12th and the 13th dot. Okay? So when you count, I always count from the bottoms up. Okay? So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is that one, and 13 is that one. So my median, if I draw a little line, my median is between those 2 dots there. Okay, but both of those dots are in the 82. So that means my median is going to be 82. I'm going to come back to that when I do my quartiles. So leave that there. But to do the mean, we have to add up all of those dots. So again, there's a long way and there's a short way. The long way, Misha, the number of dots that it has is how many times it happens. So 81 happens 4 times, which is the most. So that only happens once, that happens twice, that happens 3. That is the only one that happens 4 times. That's why that one's the most. Okay, back to the mean. The long way to do this on your calculator is that you type in each one of your dots. That's 78 plus 79 plus 79 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 81 plus 81 plus 81 plus 81. All right, if we want to make that a little bit shorter, let's just multiply when there's a repeat, okay? So we go 78 plus 79 times 2, because there's 2 of them, plus 80 times 3, plus, do you get the idea? Can you type it in? Because I want to see if you guys can get the answer. So I'll start again. Everyone calculators, ready? 78 plus 79 times 2, because there's 2 dots, plus 80 times 3 for the 3 dots, plus 81 times 4, plus 82 times 3, plus 83 times 3, plus, let's not make a mistake, 84 times 2, plus 85 times 3, plus 86 times 2, plus 87. And that was already pretty long. What did you get? 1977. Yes, you got it right. 1977. Over. Now, what does it have to be over? The number of dots, which was not 25. 24 dots. So 1977 divided by 24. That makes, very good, 82.375. Okay, quartiles time. We know that our median is here at this pink line. There are 12 dots that are lower, and there are 12 dots that are higher, making the 24 dots, right? 12 lower, 12 higher. So of the 12 that are lower, what is the middle of my 12? Okay, let's do a 12 plus 1 over 2. That's that median position thing. 12 plus 1 over 2 makes 6.5. 6.5 is the position, remember. I need to find the 6th and the 7th dot, and it will be between them. So counting from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, 6 is there, and 7 is in 81. So I'm going to put the line here, but it means that it's between the 80 and the 81. So you add them together and divide by 2, which means 80.5 is my lower quartile. Now for the upper end, you can, some people like to count from the end. You can do that if you want. I'm going to count from here. So there's my median. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is there, and 7 would be at 85. So it's going to be between the 84 and the 85. So I'm going to average them. 84 plus 85 over 2 makes 84.5. And last thing, the interquartile range, we subtract 84.5, which is our Q3, minus our Q1, which gives us our answer of 4.5 for the interquartile range. Yeah.